त्यस्तो के थियो नेपालमा जसले 23 वर्षे फ्रान्सेली एरिक भ्यालीलाई जीवनभरका लागि यहीँ बाँधिदियो। एरिक भ्याली नेपाल आए, गाउँघरमा बसे, यहीँको भाषा सिके र नेपाली संस्कृतिमै मोहित भए। त्यही बेला उनका साथी थिन्लेले फिल्म बनाउन भनेर भनेपछि क्याराभान जन्मियो। थिन्ले आफैले अभिनय गरे र यो फिल्म ओस्करको नोमिनेसनसम्म पुग्यो। एरिकले डोल्पा सम्बन्धी पुस्तक राजा वीरेन्द्रलाई दिँदा राजाको प्रतिक्रिया सम्झन लायक थियो। तपाईले मलाई आफ्नै देश नयाँ रूपमा देखाइदिनु भयो, राजा वीरेन्द्रले एरिकलाई भनेका थिए। आजको मिडिया कुराकानी पडकास्टमा एरिक भ्यालीको नेपाल यात्रा र उनले कसरी यहाँको कथा विश्वभर पुर्याए, आउनुहोस् सुनौ।
So anyway, you hear me guys or not? Yeah, okay. Guys and girls. So namaskar by Aru. Tio amiaru duijana aligati kura garon. Tio ma kasari Nepal ma aiko. I used to live in Afghanistan when I was 19, 20, something like that. And then I went to jail in Afghanistan. They put me in jail in Kabul because I overstayed my visa. And then I had to go back. I had 3 days to go back to France, or maybe to go somewhere else. And instead of going back to France, I decided to go through Pakistan, India, and I was in Varanasi when I met this French guy who said, because I was alone, and who said, hey, you know, we are just very close to the Himalayas. Why don't we go? So we hitchhiked, and we took a Tata truck. I speak Nepalese or I speak English. Yeah, well, anyway, it will come. So we just hitchhiked. I remember hitchhiking from Mito. Kasto monse tada mero Nepali te tiramo traina fere. Tio mero Nepali tio Mito chatara. Nepali pani bolnu parcha bitcha. Oh? Ah, timi aru katti duka dine monse. So yeah, that's okay. I go like this, okay? So anyway, I found myself, amiaru raxon ma pugera, yota ekdom tulo tata truck ma lift payo. And I didn't know anything about Nepal at the time. I really didn't know anything because the trip was not prepared, you know. So I remember it was a Tata truck full of cotton, you know, these big bags of cotton, huge bags. So it was nice. So it was cold. It was in December 73, something like that. And then I was in my sleeping bag. It was cold and things like that. And one point we were sleeping, but there were no roof. It was just big bags of cotton. So it was comfy in a way, but it was cold. And my friend just called me and he said, look. And then there were these thousands and thousands and thousands of terraces with these tiny white and red houses dispatched along these incredible millions of terraces. And on top, I couldn't believe it. You know, on top, there were these white mountains. I don't know where I was actually, but somewhere on the pass, you know, somewhere in between Raxol and the old road to Kathmandu. And I thought, wow, where am I? Because I didn't expect anything like that. And we got to Kathmandu at night. We slept in a shitty hotel. And the next morning I went up and I landed, just by chance, in Durbar Square, Katechimbu and so on. And then I saw, you know, all these early morning, all these women dressed in black with a red thing and, you know, carrying vegetable and things like that, and the cows and the mess and these incredible pagodas. And I thought, wow. So that was when I fell in love. That's it. And then I decided to go trekking like every tourist. And then I went to Amiarukan Solukumbu Magayo, Ramrotio, Tara tourist aru deritio. Tiandiki Amiaru Kathmandu Mafatkio and Yetibela Tapeiko Rajako coronation tio. So you remember it was 1973 or something like that. So then they would throw everybody out of the country. All the tourists, Timiaru Yambasnusak Daina, Baira Janus. And then I went to see AGP. I didn't want to go out. So, and I was in love with an American woman also at the same time, too. Do it akurat, too. And then, so I just went to see a GP, very nice guy. And I said, you cannot throw us out. And he said, okay, you stay, but you don't stay in Kathmandu Valley, you go out. So I said, okay. Then next trip was Annapurna, tourist stuff at the beginning. So we went to Annapurna, we got snowed in. It was beautiful, and the Gurung culture and so on. I loved it. I could start feeling the heartbeat of Nepal, the tradition, the beautiful architecture, the beautiful forest and things like that. And then we decided, because I'm a craftsman, I'm a cabinet maker, to make les sikarmio, to cut banane ketau. I know how to make these things in wood and things like that. So I was very interested in crafts. And we were in the Arun Valley, Judy and I. We were in the Arun Valley in Kanbari. And then there is a art bazaar, a art bazaar. These are among my first pictures. Yeah, that's right. That was the Arun in 1975. There were no bridge, there were no iron bridge, The bridge were made out of bamboo, woven bamboo and things like that. So I lived in the Arun for a year and a half because I was very interested in weaving. And in the northern part of the Arun, which already was a restricted area. So I sneaked in, then lived with a family, and
I think it is Saipan?
This is Far West. Yeah, that's Far West. 3 years ago. Yeah. Then I stayed in the Arun for a long time. I lived with a family. I learned Nepalese with them, Tio Saldango, Tio Northern Dolpo. So I lived with this family in the northern side of the Arun, near the Tibetan border. Then I went into Tibet and so on with yak caravans and so on. Yak caravan ko photo ponichawina? To yak caravan ko photo? No, yo yasakumbu. Yeah, okay. Oh, that's okay. We can go from one to the other. So anyway, I just fell in love. That's when I fell in love with the Nepalese cultural heritage. I don't like these words, but when I was living with a family, very simple life. Everything was made of stone and clay and bamboo mats. All the roof of the house were bamboo mats at the time. Now it's all phalam. So it was just Nepal, your ancestors, ki yo tapayargo baru, amaru, they lived completely in harmony with nature still. I mean, they were not a piece of bloody plastic or even cable, or all their clothes were made of the wool of their sheep, of yak. This is in November at Thinle's house. So in November, just before we take off with the caravan, it's cold. So we kill a yak because like in Europe in the old days, we would kill the pig in November, December because it was a cold month and the meat could be preserved. So the salary of this man, of the butcher, he was incredible, this guy. And so he just come for the day, and his salary is the head of the yak and its heart. This is the heart of the yak. Huge, it's big like this. So he had put the heart of the yak in there, and he was going back to his house. So it was a time, this was 1985 maybe. 1985, I think. So I was, your father and mothers and grandmother and grandfathers lived totally in harmony with nature, and also they were completely disconnected from the central Nepal. Uniaru Kathmandu ma jane man lakshabane uniaru le bantio amiaru Nepal ma jaula. Tio uniaru le Kathmandu poni bandaina uniaru le Nepal ma jantio. Ki yambu ma bantio amiaru yambu ma dogire. Because they speak Tibetan, this guy. So it was a time where these guys, they didn't ask anything from the government. Right, uniaru dan poni China. So they just lived out of their land, you know. They didn't even know what Kathmandu was, in a way, you know. Northern Dolpo was 3 weeks walk from Jumla and maybe 1 week walk from Johnson. And yetibela ma tapayaruko sarkarlai maile tio pas mongekotio. Pas mongekotio. Malai ernus tio maile tio kitabaru banaekotio, tapayarule mongporsa, merokam mongporsa, ma siaeko ketaoina, ma spaioina, malai tio pas dinus. Anito tapeko sarkarle kaili ponim pas diego China. Tiandiki ma lukeraga jontio. Tio ratima, tio checkpost, batu gaira ratima, mama, kastoduka. Ani tio kinabane tio dolpo, ani Arun kinabane, the northern part of the Arun was restricted also. And I got in big trouble there. But anyway, I was starting to be madly in love with the wild side of Nepal. You know, because I could leave the dream I had when I was a kid. My first dream when I was a kid. Mero sabonda paile ko kebonsatio. How do you say dream? Sapana. Mero sabonda purano sapana. I was dreaming that my father was driving the car and I was beside him. Somewhere I was 13, I was 12, and suddenly at the turn of the curve, there was this UFO, you know, a big UFO with light everywhere and things like that, and we would be kidnapped by this UFO and go and explore other planets, other worlds, and things like that. That's my first dream. You know, exploring, I didn't know, I was not so happy with my own culture. To France, ekdom ramro deso, banupurio tarama, front ma bazakeri, ekchinma. Yeah, that was with the Anantas. Ekchinma borlagio, taratapeko desma gaibane, yoki simko cheese deknus actu. We could leave incredible thing. I remember I was with Diane, my first wife. I was with Diane I was with Thinle. I was staying in his house in Saldong, and I was on the roof of his house. And one morning I get up and I look down, because his house is very high up, and I look down the valley and I see the trail. You could see the trail. 4,200 meters. You see the trail like little lines, and on it there were many different black dots moving. And I thought, wow, what is that? It was in November. And then I said, Thinle, yo keo yo. Ani ule baneko tu enusa yonda oncha, yon poni oncha, amiaru Johnson, amiaru ko yakliera, Tibetan nun bokera, amiaru le tio tulo donra bokera, ani tio nun, Tibetan nun, amia roulé tio Nepal ko ua sangai ki jaon ki make sangai sachon. Nobody knew about these things, and it was so these little dots. They were thousands of yaks, you know, thousands of yaks moving to the south. 2 passes above 5,500. No, you live totally like in the Middle Ages. You light fire, 1981. You light fire with a piece of metal, a flint stone, a little bit of tioke bonsai qu'on a chakma là, and chuk chuk chuk. Ani timro pipe, they say you would light your pipe like this or your fire, your yagdong fire. And then the first present I brought after to my friends were matches, knife, French knives. There are some very simple, very nice French knives. And then siu, silaonelai. Because with my money, mero Nepali rupiah sangai, uniarule paisa lindaina. I had some trouble with my boots. They were worn out because I had stayed a long time up there. And the first time I went, 1981, so my boots were destroyed, and I found one guy who could make these beautiful shoes that you saw, these boots, Tibetan boots. And then I said, okay. So he said, well, you have a big foot, but I can make it, and so on. So I said, how much? Katipurio. And you Himalaya chalis facting, pito, tsampa. So it was 40 measure of tsampa. And a measure of tsampa is this big about, something like that. It's maybe 1.5 kilos or something like that. So I said, okay, I laughed, and I said, okay, guys, I don't have flour myself. I don't have any field and things like that. He didn't want to do that. He didn't want to accept my money. So I had to send one of my porter to the south part, Ringmo and so on, to buy tsampa with money and to bring it back to get my boots. So it was just kind of a dream for me to be with such a powerful, strong bunch of people. These guys, they were just, beside the Eskimos, they are having one of the toughest lives you could think about on earth, really.
Eric,
Banus.
या कसरी कम्पेयर गर्नुहुन्छ त्यो टाइम र अहिले
अहिले थियो
सजिलो गाह्रो रिलेटिभ कुरा
त्यो मैले गाह्रो मन पर्छ in the film Thinle asked his son that was one of the big messages of the film. He says he asked advice to Thinle, and he says, which way shall I go? And his father says, if two trails open in front of you, always choose the hardest one, the one which will squeeze the best out of you. Tiandiki मेरो बाटो यो हो. त्यो सजिलो कुरा मैले मन पर्दैन. त्यो हेर्नुस्, सजिलो त्यो कुन किसिमको कुरा. सजिलो अर्को मान्छेले गर्न सकिन्छ. मैले त्यो सजिलो बाटोमा जाने मन लागेन. मैले अप्ठ्यारो बाटोमा जाने मन लाग्छ.
पहिलाको नेपाल is better than now?
मेरो लागि तर तपाईहरुको लागि त्यो तपाईहरुको लागि फरक छ. Because I was interested in untouched culture. So at the time it was still untouched all the way to the year end of the 90s, There were still the Ranatarus, for instance, in far west Nepal. They were just completely traditional. I spent incredible time with them. And the Dolpopas, the Gurungs, त्यो उनीहरू एकदम सक्कली थियो. अहिले त्यो बाटो कोलेपछि त्यो उनीहरूको संस्कृति बिल्दैछ, yung जस्तो बिल्दैछ. That was Thinle who was saying that. Make a film about Dolpo before our culture melts into like snow under the sun. So that's what we did. Okay. Oh,
There is
mama.
a very short clip of Hari August, and it is quite difficult to find out in YouTube.
Okay. No, the quality is very bad. But-
Yeah.
So this one was my first film, actually.
My name is Manilal. This is my father. His eyes were stung by the bees 30 years ago. He taught me everything I...
One takes this place. Our own country is in the highest mountains in the world, the Himalayas. There are no roads. So we must carry everything on our backs. Twice a year we go off to the forest searching for honey. This is the statement.
Oh, check ça.
Follow.
Valli.
Check ça.
Well, it's from the States. Yeah. The talent of heaven. Now, the
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah.
How did you capture the scene? Now many people are making documentary of
Yeah, sure.
of honey hunting,
Uh.
and they are using drone and other equipment.
Tu vois, il y a de rope, tu mero doritio, Manilal Songhai, Amiarusati. It was kind of difficult to tame the old man. He was kind of a difficult character at the beginning. But then I said, I come with you. And he said, no, you cannot come with me. And I showed him my nylon rope and things like that. And he laughed. He said, you cannot come with me. Because he didn't know about climbing and jumar and, all these things. And then it was a kind of difficult at the beginning. And then I found out that his son wouldn't take his place. And I said, I'll be your son. And then I remember we were in his house, very poor people, because you are honey hunter because you don't have any land. So with the honey that you have the courage to gather, then you trade your honey, which is very precious. Kinabane yetibela chinitiana, tio parco fedma. Then the only sweet stuff was honey, so you could trade the honey you gather at the risk of your life against corn and things like that. So you were on it like that. So he didn't have any son, and I said, I'll be your son, I'll be your student. And then we went, but the only way to go is to, the way I do my stuff, and that's what I like, is I share completely the life of these guys. I'm stung by the same upia, or Jumra, or Maori, Ani uniaruko kana poni konsu, and it's like so we sleep in caves, and we go hunting, and we eat mirga ko masu, and tio shisnu aru, tio ekdam chaklaksa malai. La garnus.
Okay, no. Exana director Alfred Hitchcock said, in feature films, the director is God. In documentary films, God is the director.
Very banus. In feature film,
In feature films, the director is God.
That's interesting. That's a good
Documentary
one.
films,
Yeah.
God is the director.
Yeah, tapeko kuratiksha. Yeah, tapeko kuratiksha. Yeah.
It is by Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah, okay, I guess he was right. Yeah. So anyway, I love shooting documentaries because there is this kind of unknown, there is this kind of life around you that you have to capture, and every day is different because there is not real script.
How did you reach to the characters?
That's what I said, to make friends with this guy, I had to go down the cliff with a rope, and I had to be stung with the same bees, eat the same food, get the same rain or snow in the winter and things like that. So by living their life, then you become, by living the life of these people, you get rid of all the borders. You speak their language, you eat their food, you get cold, you get warm, you get stung.
You get used to eat Zumra and
Yeah. No, ganu porio tu dol poco Zumra, t'avais chaque China, so dol poco Zumra ekdam. Oh mama. And that's it, you become friend with them, and then, Thinle Thinle was living with me in Kathmandu. We had a house in Bisalnagar. And Thinle was sick, he had TB. So I just welcomed me and my family. And the girls were maybe 5, 6, 10 years old, something like that. And he was living with us for 6 months, because TB takes a long time. And then we became very good friends. And one day I showed him the Seven Samurai by Kurosawa. Black and white film, 1965 or something. One of the great films ever made, So I show him the Seven Samurai, and we are sitting in our armchair and looking at on the wall the Seven Samurai. And then he really liked it, and he said, Eric, you are making books about us. Why don't you make a film? And that was how Caravan was born. Yeah, that was
I will
it.
ask about it later on.
Okay, sorry.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It is more easy for me while you are describing
Okay.
the way. And the life of Paris was quite comfortable, and the life of Dolpa.
Elle est bored, radio, comfortable life, manque pour rien. I like it sometimes. I go back in France in a week or something like that. It would be nice to eat cheese and drink wine for a little while. Ma il est bored là, Germany. Bored là.
And you
Yeah, it's nice sometimes. Comfort is nice, but I never live my life comfortably. I mean, I like it.
that is why you are Eric.
Yeah, I T'essayes John Meko, Ernus. T'essayes John Meko, yeah.
Can you describe any event that was unexpected or you face, and sometimes you...
So in the Arun, so I stayed in this village with his family. His name is Danen, and we stayed in a little village called Chiamtong. We stayed at the beginning with Judy. And after with okay, bon. Yeah, so anyway, so we lived in this family, and then, so that's Manilal. The guy is incredible. So I was in the Arun, and then what happened? And then it was in the winter, and suddenly Yoyasa Kumburo, because I've been these last few years, I've been working on this. And then what happened? And then suddenly 150 yaks just came out of Tibet. So Yojasto. So I was in this village in northern Arun, and one December, I think, I saw these wild Tibetan. They were completely wild and not nice. They were completely wild. They were beautiful, with a big knife across their belt and this huge fur, and things like that. And they had brought they just brought salt from the salted lake from Tibet. There are salted lakes in Tibet, quite high up. So they dry the water, they make the salt. Because in this area of the Himalaya, at the time before the road, there were no salt up there. So I saw these guys coming down, and I just thought, wow. Nobody knew that, because at the time the border with Tibet was closed. The Tibet border was completely closed, officially. But because there were some fragile people living to the north of the border and to the south of the border, which were dependent on the trail of the trade in between Tibetan and Nepalese, in between salt and grain, they had to keep the border open unofficially, so that the two communities could survive. Okay, so then I saw these guys, and I spent, days and days, and they would have these big wooden measures. I still have them, and they would trade. I think it was 4 measures of salt for 3 measures or 2 measures of corn flour, and then I was back into the time when people didn't use money. On y a roulé paisa tiena, on y a roulé satyo, jiban satyo. So for me it was very touching that they were trading life. That was quite something. I didn't think that I would see something like that in my life. So then anyway, one day Uniaruko nun satera, fatkio. Ani danenlai baneko tu ernus. Ma yan basnus agdaina, ma uniaru songai zanuporio. Ani ule malai yeta zoladio with champa, with the barley flour. And then I remember he put 3 eggs in it, in the barley flour. I had very little. I may add some, I don't know what I had, very little food. So anyway, I took off. With them, and they didn't speak one word of English, one word of Nepali. I didn't speak one word of Tibetan. I just followed the guy, Basnus, and he ule baneko to Janus. And I just went, and I remember walking behind this beautiful caravan, and the guy at the end of the yak never turned back one time. I remember that. He never turned back. Uniaru ekdom nomad too. They were just a perfect kind of pure nomad, wild. And then we get on top of a ridge, maybe 4 hours walk or something like that. The yaks, they walk kind of quickly, slowly. And then we get up there, and I don't know what to do. I have my sleeping bag, I have my bag, I have my little knife, I have few matches, and I have eggs. So they pitch their Tibetan tents on top of the thing, light a fire, and the guy said, so I come in and I sit by the fire, and then I think, and they make tea, Tibetan tea, and tukpa, to flower songai misaira noon, tukpa just so and it you sukeko, keboncha, sukati songai, to uniaru le pakantu, ani maile, to mero onda, nikaleko, to ani uniaru lai dio. And then they rarely like it because there is no eggs in Tibet. So that's how I was more or less accepted. I guess I slept beside them without being able to talk one word with them. After I started to study Tibetan after that, so anyway, I couldn't understand anything. And then we went back. We went to the Tibetan border, and we got snowed in. To your photo, Ponicha, the Smithsonian cover.
Yeah.
To your Thinle,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
Thinle, okay. Okay, that's okay. I'll go back to it. Yeah.
Eric, I will show the trailer of Himalayas.
Okay.
Then we will discuss about
Unsa, garnus.
beginning of caravan.
No problem. So, yeah, okay.
Based on this trailer, I would like to ask you some questions.
No!
Why?
No.
Just tell me about the how you inspired. What is the role of Thinle?
But you caravan of Himalaya, it's called Himalaya. It's called caravan in Japan and in Nepal, I think, and it's called Himalaya.
Yeah.
Uh,
we say,
yeah. So anyway, Thinle, I told you the story. Thinle one day said to me after seeing the Seven Samurai, he said, "You make books." I had made 1 or 2 books about Dolpo, and I think I had done a National Geographic article on Dolpo.
Oh.
And then
You told me about the reaction of King Birendra at that time after seeing you.
that's right. Yeah, I was. Okay. So I was with the king in 1998, something, 1990. I don't remember, 1995. And I gave him, we were at the palace and we knew each other because we met in Paris, we met in Kathmandu and we discussed something like that. And then I gave him one of my second Dolpo book. So it's easy to find the date of the publication. So 1990 something. And then I gave him the book and he was smoking his pipe. He was cool. And he looked at the book. So I stayed silent. I was with the producer of Caravan. I was with Jacques and I was with Diane. And he smoked his pipe and he looked at the book silently. And he looked at me and he said, "Eric, you make me," we spoke in English, "Eric, you make me discover my own country." Do you understand? That was quite something. Nepal ko raja le malai yo bideshilai. Yo banekotio. Yeah, I mean, I go to places where you guys don't go so often, Yeah. Nepalese people don't go so much in these kind of areas. Yeah.
तपाईँले राजासँग नि भेट्नुभयो र ठिनले जस्तो लोकल लेभलमा काम गर्ने मान्छेसँग पनि
म डेरी जसो हेर्नुहोस् न, म ठुलो मान्छेको केटा होइन, म सानो मान्छेको केटा हो। त्यो हेर्नुहोस् न। Thinle was a very dear friend of my family. He was a grandfather to my kids in many ways. Because he stayed with me for many months in Kathmandu, in Bisan-Lagarde, but he stayed with us also in Paris. He came to Paris. And then he stayed a long time with his daughter in Paris. That was quite something. I should have taken pictures of that. Anyway, he was... Thinle, the film is his film, in many ways. Usko Jiban, it was inspired from his life. It was inspired from his life. And many things. It's a feature film. Huh? It's not your documentary, your feature film. It's all written. So I was the god. But yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was the god. And it worked very well. I mean, Thinle is a chief of village. So he had, these people beside Thinle who had never seen a film. Uniarule tio cinema ta tiaina, tio camera kei pani ta tiaina, kaile pani tio film ereko monse hoina. Ani uniaru songai, Thinle bato, lakpa gelzen bato, tio uniaru songai, satigarera bishwaj banaera, amiarule yota film, Banayo, and a film which went all over the world. Actually, the film was. I didn't know what I was doing. Actually, I didn't know. Nobody knew what we were doing. But the incredible thing is that they believed in me. I had a big mouth, I guess, and I remember having big fight with Thinle, sometime, and this and that. Why do you ask us to do it again, to shoot again? Because you were not good. I want to show really great guys, superhero guys. I don't want to show bad acting, And Timro Jiban, it was there. It was an homage. It was an homage to their culture. You know what I mean? It was. So I wanted them to be great, to be beautiful, to be dignified, to be handsome, to be courageous. So Thinle understood it because he went all the way with me.
They were not the professional artists.
No.
Even
no.
Today, it is quite difficult for me to face camera.
Yeah, sure, it's not easy.
How did you make them very used to with the camera work?
I think they are just natural actors, They are just... okay. No. The film, many people say, they just think that it was 9 months shooting. 9 months shooting up there, which was quite something. But A 9-month shooting is nothing. Before the 9-month shooting, we wrote for 3 years. We wrote for 3 years, and it was not good. And we tried another scriptwriter, and it was not good, and it was not good, and it was not good. And I had the luck to work with a great, legendary producer, Jacques Perrin, who has 2 or 3 Oscars himself. So a great friend who was very critical and who did a fantastic job with me, because I didn't know anything about feature film. I didn't know anything about being a god. But anyway, when I look back, all these guys, they trusted me and that we went for it, and that's it. We were completely mad. I was totally mad. It was madness, this shooting. Yeah, it was total madness. There is a film about that. There is a making of Himalaya in the original DVD, which I must have at home. I think there is a making of 20 minutes film about the madness of it. Yeah, it was total mad. But I loved it. Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
And Oscar Mago.
Yeah, but
and what did it mean for you to select for the Academy Award?
I never did anything thinking about awards, and I never did anything. When you do something, you do it well, bas. So I was in love with Thinle and in love with Dolpo. So I just wanted to do the most beautiful film I could make, So you don't have much choice. That was on assignment. Okay, yeah, right, yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, that's right, yeah.
It is captured by my reporter.
Okay.
After the death.
After he died, yeah.
And finally, Thinle's death was remarkably similar to the way his son dies in your film. दुःख त उस्तै छ डल्पाको
होइन
पनि भिरबाट खसेर उसको डेथ
हुन्छ तर फिल्ममा त्यो उहाँले भिरबाट नलडेको उहाँले त्यो हिउँमा मर्छ त्यहाँदेखि फरक छ फरक छ
डल्पाको दुःख उस्तै छ
Yeah, sure. I mean, in Dolpo, in the old days, when you had to walk 3 weeks from Dunaj to go to Charka and cross 2 times 5,500 meter pass, you break a leg, you are alone, you are eaten by the wolf. It's very simple. Many wolf, you make many wolf and snow leopard and things like that. Snow leopard are not dangerous, but wolf, if you are weak, yes, they can. But I mean, life was very fragile. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
सिनेमामा चाहिँ थिन्लेको छोराको चाहिँ त्यही नुनकै ट्राभल गरिरहेको बेला उसको डेथ हुन्छ भने यो चाहिँ थिन्ले आफ्नै चाहिँ काठमाडौँबाट डोल्पा गएको बेला जाँदाखेरि उसको खसेर चाहिँ
That's right, yeah. What year was that? It was
2015, I think.
2015.
15 or 16. I think it was 16.
Yeah.
र यो चाहिँ हामीले आरुवारी यहाँ बौद्धमा चाहिँ थिन्लेको घरमा चाहिँ थिन्लेको डेथ भएपछि हामीले कभर गर्छौँ
Là, Oftaru Presnasodnus, qui a le photo. Ah, ok, oh, ok.
कुरो मात्र नगर्ने
Okay.
अलिकति रमाइलो कुरा नि गर्नु
Ok, Ramalou Kura
रमाइलो कुरा फेला पार्छु
Tiens, dit qui ma yanka.
भिडियो देखौँ
Okay. Yeah. Ah, okay.
Voyage de rêve sur les ailes du parfum.
हामीले चिनेको एरिक भ्याली चाहिँ क्याराभान हनी हन्टर अनि नेपाललाई चिनाउने लाइक ग्लोबल एम्बेसडर जस्तो लाग्छ सँगसँगै कमर्सियल प्रडक्टमा
Yeah, sometime I have to prostitute myself to make money, I have to But the good thing is that when I do this kind of stuff, I am my own boss. You know, they call me Vuitton. But that was Vuitton, yeah. That was Vuitton. That was Hermès. Moët Chandon. I don't remember which one. Yeah. How do you call not Nespresso? Nespresso, là? Nespresso, yeah. Okay, so that's Hermès. No, that's Vuitton also. So they just said, écoute, Eric, we want to work with you. Do you have an idea? And Vuitton is something like 150 years old or something like that. So I said, can I go to your museum? So I went to their museum and to see all these old suitcases and... T'as pas eu bord là, yo, Baiki? So I went... Yeah, you know Louis Vuitton. Everybody knows Louis Vuitton, Castelmonte. And then so I went to their museum and then I saw all these suitcases and chests and things like that. And I just thought, okay, why don't we travel nowadays the same way as they were traveling 100 years ago? The first explorers of Tibet, they had Louis Vuitton wooden suitcases on top of yaks, and they crossed the mountains to put notebook raknelite. You know. So I just thought, okay, let's make something 100 years ago. त्यो अर्को देखाइदिनु छ त्यो अर्को पनि छ
एउटा कुरा भन्छु when I first see the picture then I asked him did you sleep over here? Yeah, okay. So we were shooting in New Zealand. So उनीहरूलाई भनेको हेर्नुस् त्यो पहिले जस्तो गरौँ but I need lot of money. They say yes. And then we flew to New Zealand. We were maybe, I don't know, 10 of us, I guess, something like that. Helicopters, everything we had. And it was fun. So I just said, okay, now in Paris we worked. I said, okay, why don't we make a cabin in the trees? Why don't we make like in the first traveler in the gold rush in Alaska, people traveling on lakes, on rafts? Why don't we make, I don't know, travel with dog, with sleds and things like that? They said, okay, let's go. So I went, and this is very similar to that, yeah. Similar story.
This is actually, the raft was a picture that I saw from 1870 in Alaska. And the people who just went for the gold rush in Alaska, they were traveling like that. They had a tent, they had a fire, they had a sail, and they would live on these things, and they would go for weeks and weeks across Alaska and to get some. So I did that, and they liked it. So I was working with a special big format camera, and whenever there is a Louis Vuitton shop opening, lately, a few months back, they opened one in Italy, and they have this huge. Two floor high and something like, I don't know, 16 meters long. These pictures that you just saw, we can print them just okay. So we go back to Hermès. Okay, that's Hermès. So that they called me and they said, well, we would like you to illustrate the beautiful things that they do, because Hermès is one of the most. They came from Brittany. Yeah, there are some yaks in Brittany. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So this one we were thinking to shoot in Nepal, but at the time there were election or something like that. Then they got scared, and it was in the spring, and there were a lot of snow in the Alps. So we got on the web. We got some 2 or 3 yaks. We got the yaks, we got the horses, and we went into the Alps to shoot it. It was not shot in Nepal, yeah. But it was the same thing, kind of, yeah.
मलाई एउटा क्वेसन सोध्न मन लाग्यो तपाईहरुमध्ये याकको चीज कतिजनाले खानु भएको छ हात उठाइदिनु how many of you have certain cheese yak cheese
yak cheese, okay, yak cheese.
Okay, अब एउटा रमाइलो भन्दियो है yak is a male. त्यो मेलको चीज खान आउँछ आजको चीज भने है याकको चीज भनेको छु मैले
Yeah,
it is neck. न्याक भनेको फिमेल याक हो है याकको फिमेललाई चाहिँ न्याक भन्छ होइन अनि इभन हाम्रो डिटिसीले पनि याकको चिज भनेर बेचिरहेछ है त्यो अलि गडबड छ है त्यस्तो
That's right, you. Yeah, Janus? Okay.
Come along as I discover all the behind the scenes at Moet et Chandon.
Plateforme dans les années 29, 28. Et les plus vieilles bouteilles sont là, en 1898. Les plus anciennes bouteilles qu'on ait, c'est 1869, qui correspondent dans un autre tableau. Ouais, c'est le siècle 1900. On a des vieux caravans avec un peu de ça s'appelle les Silvior, hein, qui fait pas de dégâts au vin, ça va pas te donner de mauvais goût. C'est pas les araignées qui font ça. Et là, les araignées, non, c'est les champignons. Et en fait, c'est souvent parce qu'il y a du grain qui est plus autour des champignons qui sont à atmosphère sur les murs, ils viennent se nourrir de ce bas-là et puis ils se développent. Donc, pour vraiment des occasions très spéciales, on va être sur
So yeah, there is one thing is you were mentioning it because the job I do is kind of interesting because it breaks all borders. So I can be with Thinle and with Manilal, who are these incredible guys rooted in the earth and so in touch with nature and things like that. And you can meet the boss of Louis Vuitton. You can meet the king. You can meet Roger Federer or I did not long ago. I did one ad with what's his name? I forgot his name. So anyway, one thing with Adidas. The Adidas, the clothes, the sport clothes, and things like that. So anyway,
you have done with many commercial or prop brand advertisement or the professional activities. You have involved in many ways. What is the relationship between storytelling and branding? How do you compare the work of Himalayas and the work of this lavish product?
Interesting. So you are a director. When you direct an ad, you are a director because you have to agree. It's like doing a feature film because you write a script before, you do a storyboard, and you work with people. We stayed 2 days with Federer, but and he's a very nice guy. Roger. But it's being a director, meaning you have a storyboard, you have a story, and then you have to follow it more or less. Not 100%, but you have to follow it. You have to follow it. As a documentary, it's different. You have to follow more or less the stream of the life of your character. The Hitchcock sentence is very interesting. You are God and well, you'll have to teach me afterwards. Yeah, I have to write it down.
Definitely.
Yeah. So it's yeah. So here it's being a director, but you have trouble with the art director, and it's complicated. Doing advertising is complicated.
And the last slide, there are some photographs. I will display all photographs and. What should we learn from you on what Nepali creators should know?
What Nepali creators should know?
Commercial, why do you involve in commercial?
What do you...
उता कमाउने यहाँ खर्च गर्ने?
होइन दुबई किनभने त्यो मेरो फिल्म गर्दाखेरि पैसा पनि कमाउनु पर्ने थियो मेरो परिवार पनि छ मेरो 4वटा छोरी छोरा पनि छ मेरो 2टा श्रीमती छ हेर्नुस् लामो कुरा नगर्ने यसको बारेमा कुरा नगरौँ तर so it's I make money. Sometimes you make money, sometimes you don't, because the film works and then you make money. Sometimes the film doesn't work and you don't make money. And then very often now, I produce my own things. I just did a story with Bishnu Kalpit, and then I pay everything myself, and then maybe I will sell it. Maybe I won't sell it. I think I'll sell it because we did beautiful work, and Nepal is amazing country, but yeah, it's life. Life has taken me. What I think if you want to be a director, you have to be slightly mad. You have to be mad to be a director. One, even more a producer. You have to be very strong-willed. You have to have very strong will. Yeah, you have to be very determined and very stubborn and slightly crazy, which I like to be. That's it. Oina, Vishnu? अर्को प्रश्न छ?
एउटा सानो भिडियो फेरि हेर्नु
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah. अहिलेको कुरा तपाईँलाई देखेको छ होइन, तपाईँलाई देखेको छ, तर मैले त्यो मेरो बोलीको कामको बारेमा कुरा गर्ने मन लागेन. I don't like to talk about what I'm doing. म नयाँ प्रोजेक्टको बारेमा कुरा गर्दैन. म पहिलेको जीवनको बारेमा कुरा गरौँ, तर अहिलेको बारेमा अनि विष्णु केही पनि नभन्नुहोस्. विष्णुले त्यो कुछु I think maybe next year or something like that, yeah. No. I mean, I'm amazed to still after, I came in 1973, I think. And to still now, even now, I bumped into some incredible things, cultural thing, which nobody had seen, nobody had made a testimony of. I am so surprised. Just 2 weeks ago, Vishnu and I, we were together, and you pinch each other, just think, what? Are we on another planet or something like that? Tapeko des ekdam sano cha. 800 kilometers long, 200 kilometers north-south. And you have 120 different languages. You have so many different cultures, so many different traditions that even now, अहिले पनि त्यो नदेखेको कहानी पनि पाउनु सकिन्छ. ल, अर्को प्रश्न. अनि तपाईँले धेरै दुःख पायो होइन? कुन किसिमको काम? कुन किसिमको काम हो? नमस्कार. गोपाल चित्रकार. त्यहाँदेखि तपाईँले उहिलेदेखि तपाईँ पान्थर हुनुहुन्छ होइन?
मैले सँगसँगै फोटो खिच्न थालेको होला, किनभने तपाईँको मेरो एउटै उमेर हो.
हो, बुझ्यो. होइन, म तपाईँभन्दा बुढा छु होला होइन? ओके. Bata! Wow! Good! Good.
मैले तपाईँलाई सोध्नु खोजेको यस्तो काम गर्नुभयो तपाईँ.
Yeah, sure, many times. I got typhoid in the Arun. I almost died. The grandmother of this family I was telling you about died in our house. I fell from a cliff on the middle of winter in Dolpo, and I thought I would die. I almost drowned myself in the Karnali Kolama. Yeah, sure, many times you almost die. Sure, one day we die, Banus.
इन्स्पायर हुनुभयो अरे. म तपाईँको फोटो तपाईँको काम देख्दैन म डिमोरलाइज.
मतलब demoralize. होइन, किन?
मैले विचार गरेँ एरिक भ्याली र म सँगसँगै त्यस्तो हो, उसको काम किन त्यहाँ माथि मेरो किन छैन? होइन म सुत्ने
अनि Banus. माफ गर्नुहोस्
उहाँ राम्रो गफ खेल्नु
ओके उहाँ हुनुहुन्छ हामीहरू गाडीमा कुरा गरेको होइन तपाईँको बाटो बुलेर त्यो कस्टमर चाहिँ thank you very much guys but I tell you I was just the witness of your parents, grandparents. I was just a witness. मैले केही पनि गरेको छैन. I didn't do anything. I just was a witness. That's all.
यो चाहिँ राजनीतिसँग सम्बन्धित छ यो मैले आफैले लेखेको किताब हो
Oh, great. Okay, wow.
यो किताबले तपाईको
त्यो
एउटा च्याप्टरमा अलिकति इन्फर्मेसन दिन्छ यो मेरो आफ्नो प्रकाशन हो
okay, राम्रो छ एकदम.
नेपालमा
यो ठुलो कुरा हो. Yeah.
रेकर्ड
ठुलो कुरा हो. Okay. त्यो तपाईले यता डेडिकेसन लेख्नुस् न मलाई.
हस् हुन्छ
तपाईलाई दुःख दिन्छु.
हस्
हुन्छ,
हुन्छ
ल.
म लेखेर
ल हामीहरू पछि भेटौँ ल. Okay.
थ्यांक यू
Yeah, no problem.
यहाँ बसेर लेखेर दिनु न
यही बसेर मैले किन भने तपाईँ र म एउटा मेरो विद्यार्थी हो
तपाईँको you are 80?
No, 72.
नो
Okay.
You are equal. Tied.
Okay, हेर्नुहोस् न यहाँ नपर्ने. Okay, त्यहाँदेखि तपाईँ मभन्दा ठिटा छ. Because I'm born in 52. यो त्यहाँदेखि यहाँको सबभन्दा बुढा हो.
हस् ठिक छ
So you just did that with right now, no?
sorry
You just did that. You अहिले भर्खर गरेको होइन? Yeah.
no it came out some 25 years ago 1991
Okay. अहिलेको
अहिले गरेको छैन
okay. अहिलेको गरेको छैन. Okay, the first one 2020. 21. Okay.
1990 को हो
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, right. Yeah.
तपाईं ERIC है
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
ए?
Oh, ठिक छ. VALLI. ल.
आइसी लेख्नु चाहिँ ए नदी कस्तो राख्छ अब धेरै
अनि कति तारिक हो
कति तारिक ठुलो कुरा होइन त्यो 2 तारिक होला 2 तारिक December 2/12. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You might know Kiran.
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Brother-in-law. Yeah, we were talking about Kiran. Yeah, sure. He's your brother-in-law. Okay. Yeah, I know Kiran for a long time. Yeah.
All in the family.
मैले तपाईको नाम हेरेर चित्रकार त्यहाँदेखि यो एउटा परिवार हो. Yeah, sure. Kiran is an old friend. Yeah.
Thank you.
ल. Thank you very much. Huh? ल दुःख दिनुहोस् मलाई. त्यो नेपाली जर्नलिस्टसँग I don't know so much. I just heard about one guy that I'm going to meet. I just heard about him just 2 hours ago, who does great work. Usko naam Rohit Giri. So he's doing some interesting work and things like that. Yeah, there are some people. So this guy seems to be doing very interesting work, like very similar to mine. And he says, I don't know him. I meet him in few days. So this guy is he's going on the same trail as me. This guy, and he's Nepalese. I don't know him. I know of his work. For 3 hours ago, I heard about him and I looked at his work, and it's beautiful. And he seems to have the same approach as me, meaning diving. You dive, you see something, it's completely strange, completely unsuspected. You don't know what is going to happen at the curve of the trail. Are you going to meet some yaks? Are you going to meet Thinle? Are you going to jump from a cliff? Are you going to climb trees? Are you going to meet bees and snow? And I don't know. And he goes there and I go there. Meaning There are two ways of traveling. I know. There is only one way of traveling. You are a tourist, and you go this day there, you go that day there, done, and 15 days later, you go back home and you go back to your job, okay? So, there is another way, which is a way I follow, is I get lost. Big buleko bato ma gaera, mero bato betio, mero bato payo. Very often when I get lost, but rarely lost. The honey hunters, I found them like that. The caravan of Dolpo I discovered like that. I go to places where nobody goes. Arko manche gaeko bato ma kaile poni jondaina. Paile jontio. Aile tio na gaeko bato ma jonchu. So then when you go to trail where nobody has gone, where there is no book written about, no article written about, no maps, no guidebook, that's where I go. I shouldn't tell you that. No, I don't have any expectation. I just dive. I don't have any expectation. Oina duka oina tapeiko arko sabda koznus. Fun banu porio. No, you have to say it's not you. Tapeile kepani buzeko China. Arko presna. La banus. Oina. Ma sakali film banone man lagena. Ma nakali kam garne man laksa. Tio special effect kaile poni use gardaina. Tio maile if I can, and I always can. You want to show the harshness of things. You want to show the reality of things. I don't want to go into special effect. Tio deremon se yobato majancha, ma yobato majane man lagena. Yetio sadiloncha. Tio Arko monte nagaiko bato majanchu. Yetio. So I don't want any special effect in my films. Okay?
Generally in our Eastern culture, if you already be a successful person, in my perception, if you want to really be a successful person, you have to grow up one successor which is better than you. Have you think about that, or have you?
I tell you, I never thought about success. I never thought going to the Oscar or to go to the world press. I never thought, when you are facing people like Thinle, when you are facing people like Manilal or Badu or the Ranatarus, or lately this woman I was with not long ago with Bishnu, you have to do your best to convey their strength and their beauty. Bas. You don't think about money, you don't think about any other thing besides the fact of being there with the bees in the cold, in the water, You think only being there, being here now. Bas. You have no excuse. And I do believe that if you involve yourself totally in the place with the people you are in, something happens. Even so, I am a French guy, old, white hair, and tall, and they are all smaller than me, and I never met them before. There is a link happening, there is a magic happening in between the people I photography or film and me, because they understand that I am sincerely with them. I am in the water up to here. I am in the snow up to here. I am asking them, not when I'm a photographer. When I'm a feature film director, I do that. But I am... The power of now, I think, is a very important thing. And people see you coming and coming back and coming back and coming back, and you bring them the pictures that you took last year, and they just think, oh, this guy is not a tourist, because tourists we see them one time and then they disappear. He is a guy who who took the dukkha to learn Nepalese a little bit, and then to come back and to be stung with the bees, and to bring me a present from Kathmandu and the pictures from last year, and they invite me in their family, and they tell me about their life, and that's when the magic happened. The magic never happened the first time. The magic happened the first time, yeah, it does, a little bit, but it's when you come back with you, Bishnu, when you come back with a picture of last year, and then we discuss, and they say, oh, Dalbat Kanaunus, and we go in their family, and then bam, 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 and it's so exciting, and it's so touching, and it's so, and Nepalese are very cool. Well, not always, but most of the time you are very cool. Much cooler than Indians and things like that, I have to say. India is just very but no, India is quite interesting, but Nepalese people are very gentle. They are great guys, त्यो कहिले तपाईको सरकारसँगै समस्या छ, रिसाउँछु, लडाइँ गर्छु, तर धेरै जसो त्यो दिनका दिनको मान्छेसँगै बसेर एकदम राम्रो छ, एकदम, it's so rich and so nice, and यो रोटी खानुस्, तिमी डिरो खान्छ, म डिरो खान्छ, तर सिस्नु पनि छ होला, ला सिस्नु टिप्न जाउँ, ला, अनि त्यो एकदम रमाइलो छ तपाईको गाउँको मान्छेसँगै घुम्दाखेरि. अहिले काठमाडौँमा, I don't know about Kathmandu. I like to do some work on Kathmandu Valley, on the Newars. And Newar have such an incredible culture also. So maybe I work on, somebody asked me about my work, photojob. I'm thinking about something with the Newar, let's see, because their culture is so incredible. And they kept it up to now also. La arku presna sodnus. Ja, त्यो केटीले पनि सोध्नु पर्यो. ल हुन्छ दुईजना. ओके, उहाँले पहिले. ओके, भन्नुहोस्. Okay, go ahead. तिमीहरू जस्तो, except there is a certain madness about me, I think. There is a madness about me. I see it, because, yeah, there is the best time my son, who is 22, and I travel with him quite a lot. And he asked me the other day, he said, what is the best time in your life? And the best time in my life is when I am there in these strange places with these strange people learning about their life. It's great to look at a book I have done or an article in National Geographic or something, It's nice, but the most interesting, the most passionate time where my heart is really beating very strong is when I am with you guys and I explore your country. Alors, so I came to Nepal, I was 23. Then I told you I lived with this family in the upper side of the Arun. And I lived there a year and a half. There is also मेरो project लामो छ. I never do a project in 1 week, in 2 weeks, or in 1 month. I take, before I make a book or a film or maybe even an in-depth article, I take years, sometimes months, years, sometimes, yeah, very often. So then I stayed in the Arun for a year and a half. I almost died of typhoid. Went back to France. I was totally broke. I had no money left. And I was staying with friends in Paris. And then one evening, I had a video before it was slides, it was not, so I had slide Kodachrome. So I had a projector, not a video projector, but a projector. And then I would show my slides on the wall. And so some friends came to the house of my friend I was crashing on. I was sleeping on a sofa. And Then I showed them the pictures. And then this girl, I didn't know, said, but you should show your pictures to a publisher. Ani ulai baneko tio, I don't know any publisher. Maile publisher ta chaina yetibela. Yetibela ta chaina. Ani uli malai baneko, I know a publisher. I had a meeting today or yesterday with a publisher. So I said, okay, call him, And then the guy gave me a meeting. And I went to his office. He was a small guy. And I was very shy. And I remember I put the projector on a seat, on a desk. And I showed him the pictures on the wall. And the guy was not very talking much. He was listening at me. And I showed him 80 pictures or something like that. Then he went behind his desk and he said, let's make a book. And I made and I said no. I said no to him. Because I had heard about this caravan coming to the Arun and going back into Tibet. And oh yeah, right. And I almost died of typhoid that year. But I had heard about this caravan coming from Tibet to the Arun, and then I got typhoid, so I couldn't see the caravan, went back to France. Then I met Hervé de la Martinière, who is one of the great publishers of beautiful art books. And I published many books with him. I published maybe 10, 12 books with him. And he became a very good friend. And I said no to Hervé. I said no to Hervé because I wanted to see this caravan before. And then I went back, and then I met the caravan, sneaked into Tibet under this huge snowstorm. You had the pictures, the front cover of Smithsonian magazine. Tu Yakaru Yongma, tu tapele Nikalekotio. So anyway, I just came back a year later, and then I showed Hervé the caravan picture where we got snowed in the snow for days and so on. Completely epic pictures. We published the book, and I started to travel with started to publish straight away. Stern magazine 20-page, Geo magazine 30-page, Smithsonian cover story. Straight away, boom, like that. Because I went back to the Arun, went back with his caravan, I was telling you at the beginning, and then got caught in the snow, brought back this completely epic story and things like that. So I think it's very important to be very determined. Very determined. That's what I was saying in the first film. Tio Sagdain Labane, Feri Aunupuryo, Feri Aunupurne, Feri Aunupurne, Ani Amiaru Jicha, Yetio. Daratape Arule Sajilo Bato Mongpor Sabane, Katam. Sajilo Kurao. Ma Aligati, I think I am a little bit, masochist. Masochist by Sakyo. Little crazy, little masochist, yeah, I think so. Tiens ki arko presna China? Go. La. Alors, okay, so the story of the yak falling into the lake. I photographed it 3-4 years before, maybe 5-6 years before. I saw it. Mais yobato mazandakeri, maile dekekotio. Yota yak, sakali yak, lorera, animorio. So I wanted, it was very dramatic. So I wanted to recreate it in the film. But the film is a fiction film. I didn't want to kill a yak. Maile yota sakali yak, pusgarera, mareko China. So we made, you know that. Okay, so it was a plastic yak. It was a plastic yak which I threw down to the lake many times. Kati of Taro Sintio. So I didn't want to kill anybody, to just do the film and so on. Tio maile ernusa, maile paile banekotio. Tio kaile, tio एउटा प्रोजेक्ट सुरु गरेपछि जित्छ कहिले अर्को प्रोजेक्ट गरेपछि लड्छ पैसा आउँछ पैसा कमाउँछ तपाईहरू जस्तो तपाईहरू जस्तो होइन किनभने तपाईहरू तलब पाउनुहुन्छ मैले कहिले पनि तलब केहीको छैन मैले जिते भने पैसा कमाउँछ मैले लडे भने मेरो पैसा पनि लड्यो मेरो घर पनि बेच्नु पर्यो मेरो बोक जान्दैन किनभने I think that when you do sincere work, I am very naive, I think. But I was very lucky to meet Nepal and to fall in love with Nepal because your culture is incredible and then I keep discovering things every day almost. No, not every day. But otherwise it's कहिले धेरै ठुलो होटलमा जान्छु कहिले सानो लजमा पनि जान्छु यति हो त्यो I am but I never been out of job and I never had any salary in my life कहिले पनि I like to walk a tightrope I like to walk on I like to be on the edge. मेरो producer, Jacques Perrin, the guy who did Caravan and the guy who did also with me Beyond the Clouds. The guy was he died 4 years ago. And he was an incredible character. He was a very famous actor also in Europe. And then he liked to be on the edge. Tu as mis à rouler, tightrope maidne. When you walk on the edge of a cliff, you need to have your knife has to be sharpened. Tu tapeko chaku ekdam ramro tu rope maid dakeri. Tu ekdam osganu poryo. Ekdam you have to be aware of every danger, of every new things you are going to face. You have to be very sharp, like a very sharp knife. You have to be very gentle with people. You have to understand things that you never understood, you never faced even, like the story we did, Bishnu and I 2 weeks ago. I've been working for 2 years on it now. And then I don't know what's waiting for me. I don't know. I'm going to push a door and then I don't even know where I'm going to sleep that night. And I sleep on a concrete roof, on the middle of iron coming out of the roof, where there are musa all around. And then I think, wow, it's so great! And you will see the pictures next year, and it's great stuff. Why now, Bishnu? Tapai pani yesma suteko tio. Right? So I think it's I think in a way I don't believe in gods and things like that, okay? But in a way I think there is something helping the people like me who like Oftarobato, who like to go on dangerous, on funny trails. I think there is a kind of God helping me. It's very funny. I think many often I had this kind of feeling that there is somebody helping me. But when I go shoot a story, guys, I'm ready to die for it. I tell you, I'm ready to die for it. I'm really ready to die for it. When I did Caravan, when I did the Honey Hunters, when I did, many other stories, I give myself entirely to it. And maybe because people see my sincerity, then something happens. Because the story I was shooting with you, Bishnu, I was very scared. There were no danger, no physical danger. But were they going to accept me? I was working with women matri. I was on the middle of 100 women. Keta Poni China, Uniarule Kegasha, Malay Toksha, Risaunsa, or will they give me the permission to witness this incredible, crazy world that I was witnessing? To Derry Dortio, Maile. And then I couldn't speak with them. Ma uniaru sangai kuragarnu sakena. Kinamane uniarule ekdom tulo pujagartio. Teneki uniaru sangai tio. Tara uniaru sangai kuragarnu sakena. And then I was so scared, will they allow me among them to take maybe few pictures? I just came, I lost my trail, I stopped in a village, I saw this stuff, I never heard about it, I jumped in it, bam, like this, pam, 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 2 years ago. And then they wouldn't look at me, 150 women maybe, and they wouldn't look at me, they were into their ceremony. But something happened, and I knew that I had the permission to take pictures. Just because there is this kind of magic when you share the life of somebody, when you are respectful, when you don't want to disturb them, but yet witness these incredible things that they allow you to witness. And then you take pictures slowly, with your heart beating. You take pictures, and you realize that they allow you in their world. And then you come back to Kathmandu, and then you make friends with somebody of these completely lost villages. And this guy works in Kathmandu, and you ask him his phone number, and then I print the pictures, and then I meet this guy in Kathmandu. And from the village, and I say, okay, would you please give these pictures to your village? So they send pictures to the village, and I come back. I was supposed to come back the next year, but my father died, so I couldn't come. So I came 2 years later. But they remembered me. Because I was the only bloody foreigner in there. I was the only one. And this time we were 2 weeks ago there, and I was the only one. So I think magical things happen when you give yourself entirely to something, when you focus entirely on something and you are respectful. Respectful. How do you say respectful in Nepalese? Okay, I have to write it. But, I think respect is a big thing. Respect is a very big thing, yeah. Thank you very much. And you take Kitty too. Kitty cha. Yeah, okay, go ahead. Okay. So when Thinle, staying in my home in Bisalnagar, told me, you make book about us, you take pictures, but you should make a film about us. Then I wanted to make film about Dolpo, but I wanted to make a film which was a documentary film, okay? Because I didn't know how to make a feature film. Then I met Jacques Perrin. You check Jacques Perrin on the web and you'll see the guy has he produced an incredible film in his life. So we became good friends. I offered him a book, the book I gave to the king when he told me, Eric, you make me discover my own country. I offered it to Jacques, and Jacques said, let's make a film. I said, yeah. And I had a feeling of making a documentary film because I knew how to make a documentary film. And he said, no, you know this place so well. If I surround you with some very skilled people who know how to make feature film, would you go for it? And I said yes. So it took us 3 years to write a script. 3 years, which was basically the life of Thinle. It was basically based on the life of Thinle, but to go to the core of things, to go to the essence of things. You have to get rid of all the little fioriture, of the little kind of pretty things. The pretty things you get out, and you go to the core of things. You go, somebody asked me, a question not long ago. We were talking about, how can we make Nepalese film go all around the world? You can make Nepalese film go around the world if you have a universal story. So the story of Caravan, Himalaya, is a story of an old grumpy man called Thinle, who doesn't want to surrender his power because he's a chief of a village, and who has a cultural clash with a younger guy. But I could have shot this film in Texas or in the Kunlun Mountain in China or in Australia. It's a clash of generation. You know that, I know that. Everybody knows that. A Chinese, an Australian, an American, everybody knows that. So that's what Jacques Perrin, the producer, taught me. He said to me, we have to go for a universal story. Not be too Nepalese, be faithful to the culture, which is very important, okay? But this film should be understood, even so we shot it in Tibetan language. We shot it in Tibetan, not even in Nepalese, we shot it in Tibetan. So everybody told me, shooting a film in Tibetan, but nobody will ever go to see it. In France, in 1 year, 3 million people saw it. In America, in China, it was pirated, You would find the pirated copies of it in the bazaar, in Tamil and things like that. In China, everybody, everybody knows the film all over the world, basically, I was going to Tibet and everybody knew the film. They never, anyway. So I lost a lot of money. Wale Sundaina, tapai paisa kokura sunubayo. Tu me yo DVD, tapai aru keti arule kati pirate garikotio. Maile kati paisa arayo. Tio timro pirate sangai, kastokura.
Questions? Just I ask.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Questions.
So did I answer? I think I answered your question, yeah.
Young photojournalist. Yeah.
Young photojournalist. Titi Young China. Voice. Oh. Tulo Gabnos. Bye. La, ma panique aussi la gueule.
Fine.
What did he say?
यसले बेचेको थियो तपाईको क्याराभन
Custom, I'm sure. त्यो कुट्नु पर्छ. त्यो पुलिस बोलाउनु पर्यो. Custom, चोर पनि हो. I'm not a philosopher, I'm a storytelling. I mean, you go very far away, very far away in our civilization. I don't talk about only about Nepal, but अहिले एउटा story गर्दैछु, लेख्दैछु अहिले. And I was asking some pundit about this story because I researched a story with some scholar and writer and people in Nepalese guys who have been studying your culture and so on. And I said, how old is this story that I'm studying right now? And he said, this story comes before we invented rich and poor. It's before the first books. And the first book in Indian culture are 10,000 years old. So I am doing a story which is older than 10,000 years old. Your ancestors know the story. They know the story. So as long as there have been man, I think there have been stories. Stories of good and evil, stories of good time and bad time, stories of challenges, stories of struggle, of dignity, of betrayal, of wars and peace and love. I think as long as we have been human, there are stories. Yetio. Thank you. So anyway, the message of the film, and I said that in the beginning, was the son of Thinle, the lama, the painter, Norbu, doesn't know where to go. And he says to his father, no. Thinle is asking Norbu. And he says, how come did you come across the mountain with me? How come did you come to this crazy trail with me? And he said, oh, Namaskar. And he said, my teacher taught me whenever there is a hard trail, whenever there are two trails, always choose the hardest one, the one which will squeeze the best out of you. This is a message of the film, because I believe that it is a great thing. Tio Sajilo Bato Kanjane, Tio Sajilo Bato Ernus, Tio Maili Sajilo Bato Kanjane, Tio Borlacha. I like to go on a trail which is difficult. I love to not know what there is at the curve of the trail. I know not knowing what's going to happen. I love meeting people like Thinle and all these guys that you know through my film or my books. And I never know when I'm going to meet them. I never know where I am going to meet them. If there is a universal message, that's this one. And Thinle and Nobu tells it to his father. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Yeah, life is not always working like that, you know. But yeah, right. Yeah.